is going on, guys? Welcome in. Take a seat because we are in for a mother freaking treat. Let me just tell you, I've got this guy right here. Y'all know who he is. And I just want to bring up something real quick. Most of those shots in that intro from when I started was from shots that me and you did. Like, that's
I love the intro. I was sitting there vibing out to it. I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
A lot of those shots came from me filming with you back in the day. So, yes, this gentleman right here, you guys needs no introduction. You guys know him well. He is a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends, in fact, mentors, keeps me on track, yells at me when I needs it. Mr. Jody Dean, thank you so very much for being here tonight.
Appreciate that so much. Yeah, love you to death.
So we are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is because you have been busy making a sequel to a movie that you wrote and produced and put out on your own, and now we're on to part 2 already. Like, it just came out, what, October of this past year?
Yeah, October 31st, 2023.
My goodness. And here we are in February, and you are way past beginning rolling on the production. You've obviously, I assume, got your casting all done. It's already written. You're basically just pointing and shooting, or where are you exactly in the process right now, would you say?
Yeah, the ball's been rolling since early January. You know, as I'm filming, I'm editing. I don't know how to sleep or let the grass grow, as you know. And I'm like probably like 15 minutes into the movie so far of edited footage. Some of that footage might not be where it's supposed to be just yet, but as we shoot, I go along, scoot things over and pluck things in there. But we're heavy into production actually. You know, next week, as I just told you off camera, we got a long week of production ahead, and it's going to be one of the biggest productions I've ever done, the biggest budgets I've ever done. It's a week of nothing but nonstop grind.
That's amazing. That is, well, you say nonstop grind, like you ever stop grinding. I mean,
I know.
that's really nothing new there. So, man, I am, first of all, I agree with this person right here. I don't know who she is, but this person's always sniping in my chat. But you are totally handsome. I can agree with that. That being said, hey, Melissa, Sam is in the house. I spent some time with Sam's Pretty Paranormal last night on a different live stream, and anytime that she talks about Mallet 2, or you, she just glows, man. She's just and it's no secret that she was cast in the second one, as well as Alicia. Is that rumor confirmed? Can you say or deny?
Yeah, no, Alicia's in the second film. You know, it's a very, very, very small role, but just even getting her for that is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
I'm so proud that she allowed me to use her corpse in this film. And I wanted Sam to be in the first film. Things didn't work out right, but I knew for the second one, I'm like, girl, listen, if I got to come there and kidnap you to be in the part and bring you back home before dinner, you're going to be in it. So
right.
Yeah. So and her husband's going to be in it. Go figure. So I get.
Sad. That's awesome. That is awesome. So you got some big hitters in the house. I love that. Also thought that was funny.
And then maybe for part 3, maybe we can kill you off too. So
me?
Yeah. Maybe we can kill Richelle.
You know what? It would probably be Alicia. Alicia would love to be in the part to probably scare me literally to death. For those of you that don't know, Jody, Alicia, and I used to hang out quite a bit when I lived in Florida. Since I've moved up here, I haven't seen them quite as often. It's a freaking tragedy, believe me. But every time that I go to hang out with this guy and film with this guy, Alicia, of course, is there because we're also good friends. It's not just about me and Jody. It's also about Alicia. But Alicia thrives on scaring the pants off of me. Jump scares are her thing. And it's a family affair, actually. I think the last time everybody got involved in that. And so, yeah, I'm sure that she would love to see me on
Scaring people is what we just do, man. Scary movies, scary content, scaring people. It's in the blood.
Great. Everybody's throwing me under the bus now. Awesome. Yeah, so stay. I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. But I like how you just said number 3, like it's just already a given. I love that. We talked about in our first interview for Mallet, number 1, we talked about number 2 was just a given. And here we are. So I love that number 3, it's going to be up to you guys though. You guys have to, share it and buy it and watch it and love it just as much as we guys know that you are. So,
right.
Man, I'm just so proud of you. I'm proud of Alicia. I'm proud of all of you.
Means a lot. It truly does.
Just
dude,
awesome.
I am so proud of myself. There's things that I've done that I've been proud of in my life. But something I've wanted to do longer than any of those things, longer than the Haunted Mansion, longer than anything is make horror films. But it just seems like when you're a kid and when you're growing up, it seems impossible. You're like, hey, I live in Florida. This isn't Hollywood. And the timing was right when we did the first one, man. And I'm just so proud that it was successful enough that we're here for part 2. And the way that part 2 looks, man, I have not been this high on life in my entire life. It's crazy.
Awesome. That's a beautiful thing. And that's how you guys know it's going to be a good movie right there. This, that's actually a great question. So a normal big budgeted produced normal movie that you would see that's written, it doesn't take a couple months to make. It doesn't take a couple months to shoot. It doesn't take a couple months to edit. We're talking years.
Yeah.
We're talking years. Some of the bigger ones, of course, the sequels can take a few years. And here you are cranking out big screen movie quality movies in a matter of months. How do you do it? Like, how do you do that?
I have the energy now. I just turned 40 years old on February 3rd.
Yes, you did. Happy birthday.
I entered the 40 club. But I still have the energy of my same 15-year-old self. And my mind, thank God, my mind's still very, very sharp. I was wondering about that even in my early 30s, I was wondering like, hey, am I going to slow down mentally or physically? And it hasn't happened, thank God, because there's so much I want to do. Whenever I'm writing the script, I do things that I know that I can do. When I see it in my head, luckily I'm seeing it in the way it's transferring from my mind to the paper. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I rarely run into a roadblock where I'm like, shit, we're going to have to get a team on this one, or we're going to need $50,000 to shoot the scene. I just don't do that. I've always told people, man, from the beginning, and I've heard other filmmakers say this, if you don't have access to a helicopter, don't put it in the script. So I do things that I know I can do. The biggest challenge I ever have is time, because, I do have my hands in a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is, obviously, me as a friend, is my family, and giving them a good amount of my time. The cool thing about the movies is, and I've said this from the beginning, is every movie I do, I want to make sure that family is incorporated into it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I would be as passionate about it if it wasn't for that. In other words, if my sons came to me and said, hey, after Mallet 2, Dad, that was a lot of fun, but we don't really want to make movies no more, I don't know that I would do it, because then I wouldn't have that extra time with family. So
right.
As of right now, they're telling me that this is something they want to do. It's something they're good at. And I know it's going to be extremely beneficial for their future. They've got acting reels. Usually you can't even usually get an acting job without a reel, but how can you get a reel if you don't have acting jobs? So,
right. I'm
putting them as the main stars in these films. So like they are so blessed right now. You know, not only are they making money on this thing, you
Right.
know, got my little deal I made with them, but yeah, they're set up now. They've got material to get acting jobs, and we're actually trying to get them other acting jobs. So, you know, this is like a little bit of a early on trade that a lot of people don't ever get that opportunity. So
Yeah.
luckily they want it, and that's even more amazing to me that these kids are like, hey, when are we doing the next movie? Hey, we got production next week. We can't be out here, you know, falling on our bicycles. We got to make sure we keep this all night. You know? So they care about it, and that's really cool.
That is really cool, and we know where they get that from. I think that's pretty evident.
You're too sweet, Richelle.
Nicole has a question. It's a pretty good one. Where can we see part 1?
Well, what's up, Nicole? Thank you for being here watching. You can either buy part 1 on DVD at malletmovie.com, or you can rent it or buy it on Prime Video. So if you don't want to buy a DVD, you can head over there and get the digital rental or download.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly, Jen. That is pretty awesome. Yes, so go do that if you haven't seen Mallet 1. I don't know what anybody's been doing with their lives if they haven't seen it. I think it's pretty awesome. Everybody that I've talked to in the circle and out of the circle thinks it's pretty awesome. So you did a great job with that. I cannot wait to see what you're going to do with part 2. As we said, guys, production is already rolling. He's already in the hot seat. We are way past the beginning point, and he is full steam ahead. So I do have some questions that I wrote out for you that I'm absolutely probably not going to read off because you know that I just fly by the seat of my pants. We'll do some of them. If anybody here in the chat has any questions, please feel free to ask them. Just put them in all caps so I make sure that I see them. And we will put those questions before mine because mine are just sort of about what I already know. If you guys have any questions about anything you don't know, go ahead and put them in the chat and we will make sure that they get answered to the best of our ability. For anybody that's just coming in, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I am here with Jody Dean. You guys know him probably first from Hunting the Dead. That is a YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to him, then again, I don't know what you were doing with your life, but you can find them there. We've got Mallet on Facebook. There's updates all the time, cool behind the scenes footage, and things like that going on. Oh, looks like we have our first question. That is awesome. Rachel's Adventures wants to know, how long did it take to film Mallet, either 1 or 2?
Thank you for that question, Rachel. Appreciate that. Mallet 1, I wrote the film in about 2 weeks, and I would say that we filmed it in 6 months. We were done right in 6 months. And the crazy thing is when I'm filming a movie, I edit as I go along. So like right when we wrapped filming, I was basically almost done with the film other than little finishing touches. Here's a cool thing is part 2 was supposed to take 6 months. I'm super ahead of schedule right now. And I honestly think that we're probably going to be wrapped by May 1st. We started in early January, so shaved a little bit of time on this one, and we didn't shave no quality or anything. You know, I'm against that. I believe in taking your time. Alicia, she even pushes me for that. She's like, hey, if you're going to do it, make sure you do it right. I'm the same way. And Mallet 2 just looks absolutely incredible. So we're still only a quarter of the way in, but what I'm seeing so far is mind-blowing.
Now, everybody that was in 1 that may or may not be coming to 2, are they excited and ready to go just like you are?
Yeah. There's a few people that are back in 2. But dude, everybody that's coming back, everybody that was in part 1, everybody loved part 1. They thought it was good, and I'm very happy with part 1. I'm so happy to have that under my belt. But I will just say that part 2 is not a good film. It's a great film, and I'm just I'm ecstatic about it. You know, like I think I needed to do part 1 to see how capable I was of pulling off a feature film. I mean, it's not a short film. It's not a pitch trailer. This is a real fucking picture here.
Yeah.
So once I seen I could do it, I already was holding back on part 1, and we'll probably dive into that some more. But I will just say that I was really holding back on part 1, and the reason I was doing it is because I think I needed to get a picture under my belt to know, okay, you can do this on your own. You don't need a big crew. You don't need a film studio. And thank God for the success of part 1. It doesn't look like I'll ever need a film studio. If my films can do good on an independent level like part 1 did, I can fund them myself. I can do them myself, and I don't have to answer to anybody and somebody saying, hey, you're going to have to take this out of the script right here. There's too much blood. You know, not happening.
Yeah. That's actually a really, really good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. You know, the fact that creativity, especially in the horror genre, a lot of the times when you have a production and it's widespread across the big screens, you know, there are certain things in place that aren't necessarily a bad thing when it comes to censorship. But there is a lot of unneeded, in my opinion, censorship when it comes to creativity, especially from the writer, producer, the filmmaker, and all that. So the fact that you know, the elephant in the room, it takes a good freaking chunk of money to do this shit. I mean, obviously it does. But taking that aside, you don't have anybody that's above or below you that's literally got you by the balls saying, you know, this is something you can't do. You know, we've got to cut this out. Like you said, this is too bloody. I mean, you just posted an update about, you know, some blood chilling. Was that in a refrigerator? Like, where was that?
Yeah. No, Alicia, the wifey, for anybody that doesn't know, she's been very kind and understanding of this. I've got bloods that I've made in the refrigerator right now for coming shoots. Different colors, different qualities, aged bloods for different arteries and things like that. Stuff that I understand. A lot of people are probably like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, you keep it in the refrigerator. It keeps it nice and thick. And I had to share that because, you know, when I go and open it up, I'm like, this is just not normal.
Yeah.
However, you know, for a guy that's making horror films for a living now, it's my new norm.
It is. I love that. It's like you got to reach over it to grab the butter. I do love that. So we've got another question. Rachel wants to know, what rating is Mallet? Like PG, PG-13, or R? Just curious.
That's a good question. It's not rated. It will never be. None of my films will ever be able to get a rating from here out. Mallet 1 could have got a rating, but I wanted to release it as unrated. I didn't want to have to make any edits. See, when you go to a film, the rating system, the film committee for that, they'll view your film and they'll tell you, you're going to change this, you're going to cut this, or we can't rate it. Well, the only time you ever want to get ratings for a film is if you plan for it to go to movie theaters. If you're not planning to go to movie theaters, you really don't need a rating. You know, if you weren't doing horror and you were going straight to DVD, maybe you'd want a rating because there's those parents out there that be like, hey, I got to see if I want my kid to see this.
Right.
But when it comes to horror, the horror fans and the cult followings out there, they really prefer an unrated horror film. You could see anything in this. You could see naked, you could see gore galore, and you know, and Mallet 2 definitely could not get a rating. I can tell you that right now. I could submit it to them. I could pay all the money in the world. They would not rate this film.
That's crazy. That's a great question, and that is a great answer. I love that. So if you guys are curious about what you're in for, that was the perfect answer right there. Let your imagination run with that, because that is excellent. I love that. Alrighty. So what can you discuss the importance of character development in horror writing and share an example from Mallet? Maybe how Mallet you know, if you can, don't give anything away, but is Mallet evolving from 1 to 2? Is Mallet going to have like a sidekick? Again, I don't know anything. Yeah. Don't give anything away. This is just me speculating, but is he evolving, or is there development in the character from 1 to 2?
Yeah. Man, there's major development. He's 10 times more menacing. He's 10 times more mad. In the first film, I described him as a young kid that he was mad, he was bitter, he was full of hate and pain, and it was over something so little. But it goes to show you, you know, in real life, there's people that their pains might seem little to us, but inside they feel so big, and then they go and they do these catastrophic things. And I wanted that bit of realism to be there. I don't know if it was captured or not. I feel like, you know, I did my best at conveying it, but in part 2, his anger is just on steroids. He's come from being this guy that was mad and learned that he can kill and that he's good at it, to wanting to be more relentless and just really take things up a notch and evolve his reputation, like, which is scary to be a killer and your main focus is that now you're known as a tormentor. And it's stretched beyond just Tyler and his family being terrified of this guy. Now the whole community, the whole county is on standby, and people are falling apart, and it's really breaking people's spirits down. They're locking their doors, their windows, they're keeping their guns loaded, and people are on standby now. So you know, when you're coming up with a character like that, the way I've always done it, and I wrote a lot of scripts in my mid-20s that I've never filmed. I don't know if I ever will. But my approach has always been the same. I sit down and I try and think how they would think. And that's hard to do when you're not a killer yourself, but you know, you can mentally just try and imagine. You get in a mode and then you start writing, and you know, once you start filming and directing those looks and the movements and things like that, that's when you bring that psycho, that sadisticness to life. And he's a whole different animal. Mallet 2 is night and day compared to 1. I'd say that Mallet 1's PG compared to what, you know, Mallet 2 is.
Shoot.
And not just in blood and gore, but the story itself, the intenseness of it. I've said from the beginning, I want to make horror films like I want to watch. And some of my favorite horror films are the Saws, are the Wrong Turn films, the Hostels, the gory stuff, the Jeepers, you know, the elements of Jeepers Creepers that, you know, God, there's so many out there. I have so many, you know, films that I'm a fan of, but I'll say this, that everything that I'm a fan of, I've taken a little piece of it in some way, shape, or form. And I think we all do, you know, a lot of things are recycled, but I will say that you'll also see a lot of originality in my films as well.
Yeah. That's a great segue to a few questions I have. Yes, Sam's pretty paranormal. Absolutely. Michael Myers would stay locked up somewhere scared of Mallet. I think he would have stayed locked up scared of Mallet in the first one. And from what I'm understanding for the second one, I don't think he's gonna be out anytime soon. Jen says, I miss Adventures of Jody and Richelle. Y'all's content is what started my interest in YouTube and making videos. That's a great point. Thank you, Jen. I miss filming with this guy. Some of the most fun and the most terrified I've ever been. The safest and the most dangerous I've ever been is with this guy right here. And you know,
I miss it too. We had we had so much fun, and I hope we get to do, you know, I hope we get to do it again. I know we've talked about it. We're going to make it happen this year.
Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. It's whether or not nothing's officially in the works, but I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not going to let another year go by. So you're not either. So, and Alicia won't have it either. So let's stay tuned. Thank you for that, Jen. Tiffany has a question. What was your favorite scene to film in Mallet 1? It's a great question.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
Favorite scene, Mallet one.
You know, that's something that nobody has asked me yet. My favorite scene to film in Mallet one. I really enjoyed the scene of my son Anthony, who plays Mallet, my son Jace, who plays Tyler. The scene when they were in top of the mansion, my haunted house attraction, whenever Tyler was hiding from Mallet.
Mm-hmm.
After the witch pointed him in the wrong direction and kind of trapped him, and the covers came back, and Mallet and Tyler, they come face to face, and that acting there from both of them was great. Jace, you know, really he conveyed his emotions so well, spoke so well. And then Anthony, it's the first time in the film where you see him without a mask on.
Right.
And his acting was so great. Whenever I watched it, I was so proud. You got to remember, these kids didn't go to acting class.
Yeah.
You know, they're my kids,
Yeah.
but this was it. This was like being thrown into it with little direction, and they executed it so well. And when I seen it put together, the finished product, I just was crying with happiness on the inside, you know, like a proud father.
Yeah.
So that scene, definitely.
Yeah. Sam agrees. That's my fave. The witch was amazing. She gave me goosebumps. Anthony and Jace were phenomenal. I completely agree. And I wish I would have answered that question before you did, because I would have said that same exact scene. No shit. And I know this is my show and I can like lie to you if I wanted to, but that's not a lie. Like that right there. Like, I'm pretty sure I watched it with Jen right here. We watched it together. I'm pretty sure at that scene, like we like jumped up and cheered. It was crazy. That witch, like I told you before that movie even came out, I said, who is that? She is phenomenal. And that was just from the trailer. And she killed it in that movie. She
really did. And she's coming back for part 2. She has a few parts in part 2.
Sweet.
And I can't wait to film those. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, oh my God, the stuff we got to do with the witch in part 2 is great. So she's definitely somebody that I would like, no spoiler or anything, but that I would like to keep around. She does a phenomenal job, but also just that one voice now that's in his life that's saying, you can do very bad things.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing, you know? It's like that voice of encouragement to do evil. I don't think we see that in horror films too often. And and I think that's something that makes it really original too, is like, yeah, he's got his own anger and emotions built up, but he's got a support system, somebody saying, hey, you can do this. And I want to capitalize on that a little bit more. So
it's very interesting that you say that. I know that a lot of fans of the paranormal and horror films are also fans of true crime. And you just hit on something in real life.
Right.
You know, I'm not a doctor, so please don't take advice from me. But a lot of these serial killers and people that have done awful things in their life, they have this well from which they draw from their experiences from maybe when they were little or something traumatic that happened to them and their family or whatever. They draw from that, and somewhere along the line it festers, right? And then somewhere along that line, they decide the line in the sand between acceptable behavior and something that may be taboo, before it even gets to the point where it's, you know, catastrophic, you know, just maybe just a little strange, you know, maybe they have an affinity with dead animals or what have you. Somewhere along the line, 9 times out of 10, there's somebody in their life that's saying, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You know? So
and when I was writing it, I definitely seen that in my head. Like I said, you know, I wanted it to seem like it could be real. I was trying to stay away from like any fantasy element that how this killer came in to be, and you know, just I think when I wrote that script, there was a school shooting that had just happened, and I was thinking to myself, you know, in my opinion, there's just nothing that can be an excuse for that kind of hate, those kind of crimes. But when you come to making a movie and you're trying to make these characters The only way to give them some realism is to kind of look at real life situations. And that's what I was thinking. You know, there's somebody that's had like they felt like they were bullied. They were put into a corner. And so they turned to chaos. And when they turned to chaos, there was that support system there. And it just so happens to be that this kid's having nightmares that are actually premonitions of things that are actually going to happen. Yeah. And I think that's what's so unique about the film, man, is Tyler's got a gift. And that's probably the only thing in there that you can honestly say is like not fantasy, because there are people that have that gift.
Oh, absolutely.
Like abilities, empath and stuff. So
you are one of them.
Yeah,
you're one of them. So
definitely. It was just the perfect element. And I was just hoping when people watched it, they stuck through to get that, because that's, you know, a lot of people, if you can't get them locked in, it's almost like a song. When a song comes on, if it's not good, you turn the channel. You know, I was like hoping that people would stick through there because it's a new story, it's a new killer. And they did. And a lot of people reached out to me and they were like, man, I really love that this kid is like, what he's dreaming is actually like, he's knowing what's going to happen now, so he can kind of prepare himself for the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam, you're absolutely right. He was desperate for help and his parents ignored him. Yeah. And that's actually, that's a terrible point, but it's a great point. So when it comes to maybe not so much the storyline, but things that can happen along the way, you know, do you have a hard line? Like, do you have a safe word, or is it just like balls to the wall for you? Like, is there a no when it comes to Jody Dean as a producer? Is there too much? Is there something you won't? Is there a place you won't go? Or is it just sort of, I mean, you keep blood in your fridge. So, I mean, that's just an honest question.
No, for sure. I listen, you know, I've seen horror films before that somebody watching it with me or a friend that has seen and said, man, I think they went too far. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, you do? Like, it's a horror film. I wouldn't expect nothing less. You know, I've asked myself that, and I even, you know, posted a post in a group I seen the other day, and I asked people, because I wanted to know if horror fans themselves, people are addicted to horror, think there's a line you can cross. And I was surprised there was only like one person in there that had anything to say about there being a line, and it really didn't make sense. And to me, no, there's nothing that, you know, if I write it, it's getting filmed. And that's another reason I want to keep these independent, is because if you do partner up with the studio or an investor, they've got their money invested. They have a say in what you're doing. And if you try and tell them it's going to be otherwise, guess what? Did you take money from this person? Exactly. They have a say in what you're doing.
Exactly.
I would almost say that if I couldn't do this on my own, that I wouldn't do it, because, you know, like, again, I want to make these movies like the movies I like to watch. But I also want to bring something original, and that's my style of how we get there and the tempo of the films. I said this in the interview I did with Sam. I want people to watch the film, and maybe like one day I can just visualize like somebody like lands on the film and they don't know what they're watching. They don't know who made it, but they watch it and they're like, whoa, this must be a Jody S. Dean film. Like, it's got that tempo and that vibe. So I want to get there. But as far as, you know, limits and what I'll do, no, not at all. I'm going to try and top everything I do. So if you think part 2, when you see it, is a bloody, gory mess that is just super controversial, I crossed the line, guess what? Wait till you see part 3, motherfuckers.
That is what I am talking about. Oh my God. Perfect answer. I think if we really break it down to why do people watch horror, right? Why do people enjoy safely being terrified? Why do people want that escape. It's a way to live vicariously. It's a way to, I mean, you can insert a million different reasons. So the fact that you are free and able to do what you want with it, I think, for me at least, is a huge reason of why people are backing this and why people are becoming obsessed with it and why it's going to be a freaking cult classic. Because it's not, you don't know where it's going to go. And once you know where it's going to go, what's the point? What's the point of watching if it, I can't tell you how many times I watch something on TV or whatever, and I'm like, did I write the show? Because I'll say something or, whatever. And you just know where it's going to go, and it just becomes not fun anymore. And I love that you are just taking it where you want to go. Violet, yes, you are absolutely right. Late night writers, hey, welcome in. That is a great point. Thank you for reminding me. Anybody that's joining us right now, I am here with Mr. Jody Dean himself, Hunting the Dead, as well as writer, producer, filmmaker, editor, and all things godly when it comes to horror films. And we are discussing Mallet 2, The Nightmare Continues. Is that right? I apologize. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. The first film is The Nightmare Begins. The second film is The Nightmare Continues. And
I love that.
The third film, The Nightmare Ends. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, shoot. Lindy, welcome in. Darlene loves Mallet and can't wait for part 2. Lindy says hello. We love Jody Dean. Yes, we do. So you may or may not have just gotten a little hint. Take it as you will, guys. He always loves to drop little tidbits here for you on the show. So thank you guys for being here. And man, I am just okay. Let's just continue on with another question. Again, anybody that's new here, if you have a question, please put it in all caps if you've got one for Jody, so we can make sure it gets answered for you. Here's a great one that sort of ties into the last one. So how do you consider the audience's psychological and emotional reactions when you're planning and filming these movies? Do you just run with it? Are you like, let's just fuck them up as best as we can? Or are you just sort of, you mentioned that you held back a little bit in one. I mean,
all right. So I did hold back in one, but it definitely wasn't because of that. But I'll say this, anybody that knows me, they know this, and this is something I'm very proud of, because you are who you surround yourself with.
Yep.
I'm a very good people reader, energy, understanding people, their minds, the way things work, respect. And when I'm sitting down writing these, I'm constantly having visuals of people seeing it for the first time.
Right. Okay.
And it's almost like I can feel the response, or I can see the response. And it's crazy because I did that with part 1, and I remember a lot of what people said. I was like, wow, like that's exactly what I thought you would get from it. And I watch horror film. Anytime I have a breathing moment where I'm not grinding or making a piece of content or doing something, I'm watching horror films. It's been my life, all my life. I just understand them, and I understand what the real horror fans want, what the cult followings want, and I know what I want. And that's the most important thing. If you're going to make a film, don't do it just to try and make money. Don't do it to try and get some status. You gotta make something you're going to be proud of. There was one point, I think I said this to you before, where I told the kids when we were approaching the finish line with Mallet 1, I said, look, when this film's done, if we sit down and watch it beginning to end and I'm not happy with it, I'm not proud of it, I'm not putting it out. And they were like, what? Are you serious? We just did all this work. I said, look, guys, I love you guys to death, but look, I'm not going to put out something I'm not going to be proud of. And you guys, you should be the same way. And we watched it beginning to end. And I looked at them and I said, this shit's coming out. This is coming out. And so I understand people pretty well. I understand what people want in the horror genre, and when I'm writing it, I'm trying to give them what they want. And I'm probably doing, with this second film, you're really going to get who I am as a writer and director, and expect nothing less in the future.
I believe we spoke after you had watched from beginning to end, and you even mentioned to me, and I'll never forget this. You said, "Yeah, we've watched it about 8 times, and we're going to sit down tonight and watch it again." And if that doesn't tell you who Jody Dean is, not only as a family man, I'm sitting down with my family to watch this right now. Not only is that, but as the writer, the producer, the filmmaker, the editor, I'm sitting down to watch it again, going on number 9. I'll let you know because I was nosy. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Are you liking what you're seeing? I know that you wrapped up filming. I'm sitting down again for the 9th time. I'll let you know. I'm like, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We did. We watched it. We watched it over and over and over. And at that point, there was no more adjustments. There was no more polishing it up. It was just like, this is it. It's time to make the decision. And I knew after I watched it the first time that it was good. But I definitely. It's so easy for us to lie to ourselves.
Yeah, it is.
Just seeing that we made a movie, it would have been so easy for me to say, I made a movie. Let me just put this shit out.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that. I have friends that are filmmakers and people I go way back with. And I just look at some of those films and I'm just kind of like, and then I watch films like Terrifier and Hatchet and Jeepers Creepers and the Silent Hill films and just a long list of films where I watch it and I'm like, man, I would be so proud if this was my film. I wish my name was on this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's how I want to feel when I do my own project. Yeah. And with the first one, dude, I did it while I was making 15 YouTube videos a month, while I was going through a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And somehow I managed to make something that I was proud of, but I also, again, I held back. I held back with the special effects. A lot of people that don't know me, in my mid-20s, I was doing special effects for a lot of people's short films, a lot of special effects for people that were making like zombie feature films. And a lot of it, I was just a second party, third party effects makeup artist. But I learned a lot of shit. And whenever it came to making the first film, I was like, maybe I won't show this kill scene. I'll show the next one, but maybe this one I'll just let them, get the essence of what's going on. And when I watched it back, I wasn't upset with that, but I was like, man, I could have made that dude's head explode. I
gotta be honest, I said that myself. I'm like, he held back on that. I could feel where you would have taken it and where you didn't take it, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Right. But I have the great fortune, of course, of knowing you off screen. So even though you don't really differ hardly at all from on screen to off screen, I just know from our talks and from hanging out, just exactly, I could see it. I could totally see it. And I can tell that 2 and possibly 3 to 13,000 is just going to be off the freaking charts. I can tell. Lindy says, Jody, I will always be grateful to you for encouraging Richelle and helping her get started. I love her to pieces. Lindy, I love you to pieces. Yes, for anybody that doesn't know, Jody and I became friends by mistake, and totally on purpose, but definitely by mistake.
Super, super happy that we did. It was crazy how it all happened, but I'm super happy that you went this route and you've stuck with it. And for a long time over the years, I've been reaching out, trying to encourage you to keep pushing it and go. And that's because I do. I want to see all my friends just do the best that I know they can do. And we're in a hard field to be in. Like the YouTube field, back when I came into it, there was a lot of people there, but it's now it's saturated depending on what you do. The one thing I like about doing the Randonautica videos, the Scaranoia app, is not everybody and their mother is doing it. There's a small handful of people doing it. And it's kind of had its day, but I enjoy it so much. I don't even care. I don't care if it doesn't get tons of views, because
Yeah.
I know people that are raking in the views, raking in the money, and they're miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Money does not buy happiness, and it definitely can help. That's for damn sure. But you got to enjoy what you're doing, and me and you, we've always enjoyed this. We both should be so much further on the platforms than what we are, but that's just how it works, man. That's the algorithm,
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, it definitely is real. And we had a talk beforehand, and I know that when we get off this live, you're probably going to yell at me afterhand, and that's all right. I need it every once in a while, but this show is not about me. So Justine says, hey, it's my two favorite YouTubers. When are you two going to do videos together? Because you both are so funny.
What's
Soon.
up, Justine? Mormozyme, my boy, Toxic AI. Look at all these beautiful people you got in here.
Yes, they are coming out. They are absolutely beautiful. Scared Witless is here. Lindy's here. Sam is still hanging out. I love it. I love it. Soon. The answer is going to be soon. We both decided that no matter what, it's definitely. Oh, Darlene says Jody Dean literally saved my life.
Oh man, thank you, Darlene. I appreciate that. There is such a sweet family and group of supporters. I think they bought like 8 copies of Mallet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, AD. Lindy says, I don't care if I'm always in anybody channel. I love ghost hunting, been sick and trying to get better. Yes, I actually, side note real quick, hunted with Lindy, Night Owl Paranormal in Tennessee. We went to a haunted jail with Jen, who's also in the chat. And it was interesting, to say the least. I got some of my best evidence there. And Lindy sang a glorious rendition and brought the house down. I mean, it was just super cool. But yeah, she's a great channel. By the way, anybody that's here right now, this show is about Mr. Jody Dean, but if you do have a channel, please feel free to drop it in the chat. And anybody that wants to, make friends with people that are here, that's what it's all about. We are a beautiful community, loving community. And I love to be able to share that. So go ahead. If you have a channel, drop it. Let's make some friends. But let's get back to the questions. Again, anybody that's new here, if you do have a question for Mr. Jody Dean, please put it in all caps, and I will make sure that it gets answered for you if we can. Again, we're not going to give away any spoilers, so don't ask. So going back to, no, that's just sort of redundant there. So how do you balance pacing the audience and not giving anything, especially, okay, so I did not have any part of this. You did Mallet 1 with the idea that maybe, possibly, probably there'd be a Mallet 2. And now that we're on 2, how do you keep it written so that you can keep people's engagement, but also maybe leave it open-ended for a sequel or not? How do you do that? Like, is it hard to do, or?
No, it's not. I've been writing longer than anybody realizes. It's not something I've ever kind of I bring up too often, or I ever bragged about. Hey man, I'm a great writer. I just kind of like always try and show people shit and see what the response is. But I'll just say that when I was creating Mallet, I wanted to create somebody. I said this in the beginning, that would stand up among the other tyrants and titans of the the horror classics, the Freddys, the Jasons, the Michael Myers, the Pinheads. And I kind of just had all those people in my head, and I'm like, can I see Mallet standing up there with those guys on the stage? Can I see him on the horror of Mount Rushmore?
Right.
And the answer to me was yes, but I was like, now I got to see if I can make other people feel that way. So,
right.
The first film was an introduction. I left it open to where it can continue to go. I knew when I finished the script for the first film that I had in my head, and I'll say it now. I dropped this nugget earlier, but that the first film was going to be The Nightmare Begins. The second film was going to be The Nightmare Continues. And depending on how that was received, if we got to that point, that the third one was going to be The Nightmare Ends. So I will say that I've already got the third film in my head. Like this, I've even written most of the script for it. But I see it, and it's a beautiful story. I hope it gets a chance to continue. And the cool thing about it is each time, production stepping up, each time the kill and the caliber of the film is stepping up, and and the character growth, man. It's an awesome story, and
Yes.
you know, I just hope that it gets there. At this point, I really think that it will, because Mallet's got a little bit of a fan base right now. Actually, it's a really nice fan base, man. You know,
Yeah.
we sold just over 6,400 DVDs. It's got a lot of streams on Prime, and it seems like people really like where it could go. They like the film and they like where it could go, and I think that Mallet too. I showed Sam. She got very lucky. I got lucky. I got lucky that I was on the phone with her, and I was like, "Hey, you want to check this out real quick?" And I showed her some of it, and she got up out of her chair and looked like she was like, her eyes were gonna pop out of her head. She was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy!" I showed 12 minutes of it to my mom, and she almost died. 12 minutes. She's like, "I can't watch no more, son. I can't watch no more." Pass out. So you know, I know that we got something here. Mallet 2 is more what the horror fans want.
Yeah.
And I don't hold back at all. And in fact, if I even get to that point to where I'm like, man, did I do all I can do? I throw another gallon of blood on it.
Yep. I like that. That is if you could sum up Jody Dean in a sentence, that is it. Just when I think I'm done, I'm gonna throw another gallon of blood on it. That, you know what, that'd be great merch. Keep that in mind. So Lindy has a question. So what is Mallet about, the general plot? If you could sum up the back of the DVD cover real quick for anybody that doesn't know what Mallet is about without giving anything away, what would that be?
Mallet is about a young man that was kicked off the basketball team by a lifelong friend. And he's taken this to heart. His anger has ate him up inside, and a witch has gotten his ear telling him that he can be an extraordinary evil, and this is attractive to him because it's the only thing he has now. However, the counterpart is there's a young boy named Tyler that has now locked on to this tormentor through his nightmares, and his nightmares are premonitions of what will happen in real time. And him and Mallet are their enemies, and this boy has to become a man. He has to either stay timid, or he has to grow up, and he has to face evil. And he doesn't, and he does in Mallet 1, and he continues in Mallet 2. He's a stronger young lad, and Mallet's 10 times more menacing.
Oh, shoot. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That is awesome. That is awesome. I love where this is going. I love how you're keeping us all on edge. That's really hard to do, especially, I mean, as we all know, it's not just this movie that you're making. You film for your YouTube, and you've got, fatherly duties and spousal duties and all these other things going on. So do you have a schedule? How do you stay on schedule? Do you compartmentalize? Like, it's like today HDD day and tomorrow is Mallet day. Like, do you have, like, how do you juggle all of this?
It's so crazy. Every day I don't have days off. So like over a year time, there might be like an entire week that I get off a year. My brain is my gift and my curse. I don't feel complete, or I can't chemically be right if I don't do the things that are up here. Right. Alicia can be the first to tell you. It's crazy. I've never met anybody with this problem. I think it is a real problem. However, the gift is those problems transfer into business and money insecurity for my family. So yeah, you know, today I went and I filmed 2 HTD videos. I came home from that. I made a beautiful piece of music for the soundtrack of Mallet 2. Then I came here to do this interview with you. And whenever I get back, I'm going to edit those 2 videos that I filmed today. Tomorrow, I'll be getting things ready for the production that I'm about to set sail on for a whole week. And then after I'm done with that, I'll probably go film another HTD video. So every day is like this, man. It's always something. And if it's not HTD, it's something business related. Dean's Haunted Mansion. I just started building new sets over there for the new haunt season. You know, we're doing a clown theme for my haunted house attraction this year. So I've got to get that ball rolling. Yeah, it's hustle, 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 but it makes me happy. It's not like, you know, some people like the hustle makes them tired. It makes them sad. They're like, man, I wish I didn't have to do this. I don't know that I could go back to the life where I wasn't doing this as much, you know, pre-YouTube, pre-movies. Even then I was grinding like this. Now it's at an all-time high. And I love it, man. It makes me happy. I will say that, and I told you this off camera. Some people have heard me mention it, but I don't know if they realize how serious it is. This time next year, I really want to be doing movies. I'm doing it full time now, you could say, but next year, I really want to move into come from 15 YouTube videos a month to maybe 8 videos a month on YouTube. And a lot of that could be changed. It could be changed content from Randonautica paranormal stuff to you seeing me behind the scenes on movies that I'm making. It could feel more like a 2-hour long vlog. And just do movies relentlessly for you know the next 20 years of my life.
That's crazy. I just heard the world just stopped, came to a screeching halt because you said you might be cutting down on videos. I love that. But it's the truth, folks. I mean, he's best at what he does when he's passionate, and he's passionate about everything, but you can't juggle everything at once. So not even you, Superman. Like you're doing it right now, but I'll tell you what, the way that this movie thing is taken off, it's just the next natural step.
I love YouTube and I love my following. That's why I would never quit. But a lot of YouTubers don't drop 15 videos a month. I've been doing that for 3 or 4 years now. You know, that's a video every other day. Yeah. You know, if you ever asked me at any point in my life, what would I rather do? YouTube wasn't even on the table at one time. We didn't even know what a YouTube was.
Yeah.
But I can remember being a kid saying, I want to make films. I want to own a haunted house attraction. And now that opportunity is here, man, I would hate like hell to not grab it by the horns. So
yeah.
And the fact that the kids are into it and they want to proceed with this, it's driving me even more to saying, guys, let's make movies that people will watch over and over and over for the rest of time. Not a YouTube video that's going to get hit today. And then, you know, it's going to get next week. They're going to be like, hey, where's the next one? Where's the next one? Where's the next one?
Exactly.
Go back and rewatch a movie that you love over and over and over.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Toxic AI says the multi-ending in Mallet was mind-blowingly brilliant. I completely freaking agree. Rachel says, just to catch up over here in the comments, Jody, huge fan of yours, horror movies, Mallet. I can't wait to give it a watch. I would love to interview on my channel and get Mallet as much attention as possible. Love promoting my favorite channels. Yeah, that is, so you missed the boat, Rachel. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Definitely feel free to send me an email at deanshauntedmansion@gmail.com.
There you go. There you go, Rachel. Yes, don't want to see Jody get burned out. I don't know if Jody has a burned out mode, but I guess even Superman has a burned out mode. So this shift that I'm seeing is, you know, it's just again, knowing you from off screen, I just, you just know when your people have a passion. And I just love that you are full on balls to the wall chasing this. And it's a family affair. I mean, that is just that's the coolest part. And they are loving it and they are killing it, pun intended. And man, I don't know.
It's a lot of fun, dude. Making a movie is the funnest thing in the world. I can say the same thing about YouTube videos. When I make a YouTube video, I don't ever walk away saying, damn, I feel like I just, put in 8 hours on the shift or anything like that. Every time I'm done with the YouTube video, I'm like, man, that was a lot of fucking fun. I can't wait to make the next one.
Yep.
Same thing with the movies. I will just say that the movies touch me in a way I've never been touched before. and I love it, dude. It's even Alicia gets it now. Like before, she was like, I don't get it. You're killing it. You don't need to add anything extra to the plate. Why?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, some people are just okay with, just doing the bare minimum, what you have to do. And man, I know I'm gonna die one day, and I want to just squeeze the most out of this lifeboat.
That was fun. Peekaboo, we're back. I love how you just carried that on. That was excellent. Thank you for that.
What happened there?
I don't either, but we're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. Way to go, everybody. This is the Jody Show. Welcome in. Take a seat. Yes, jumping right back into it. You are creating a legacy. You are absolutely correct. This is not something that is just a hobby. This is definitely creating a legacy. And it goes way beyond Mallet. It's going to go way beyond HDD. It goes way beyond Jody Dean even. So it's just, for those of us that are plugged in, it's exciting to see where you're going to go. Yes, building an empire. Exactly. This is not just a one and done. And I don't mean that just because we have a part 2. We all know.
Very nice.
Not a one and done. I love that. All right, guys, we are past our 1 hour. We are going to wrap it up here shortly. As you heard, he's got some editing to do. If anybody has any last minute questions, please throw them up into the chat as soon as you possibly can so we can let this man go back to work. Team Jody for life. Absolutely. We definitely are. Remember us little folks when you make it big. That will not be a problem. He's always a little folk reacher outer. I'm a perfect example. He's not forgotten me yet. Rachel says she's sending an email now. That is awesome, Rachel. Please keep in mind, he's a very, very busy man. Alicia doesn't even see him. So I'm kidding. Alicia does see him, but absolutely. Sam is laughing. All right. So let's talk real quick while we see if anybody else has any more questions. What is do we have an intended release date for Mallet 2? When should people start looking out for Mallet 2? Can you give us any insight on where you think maybe we can get our hands on it and dive into this horror deliciousness?
Yes, I can. I can do that. So Mallet 2 drops October 25th, the same day that Terrifier 3 drops, on purpose. And October 25th, I expect to see a trailer sometime maybe in the next 2 to 3 months. Watch out for the trailer, man. It's definitely, you're gonna see a whole different animal here. The first trailer, I went back and watched it yesterday for Mallet 1, and I was like, man, this looks like such a PG film. And it's not at all, but Mallet 2 trailer is going to knock you off your feet, and the film's going to drop October 25th. Pre-orders will open up late July, early August. Everybody that pre-orders will get a signed copy from me, Tyler, and Anthony, who plays Mallet, Jace, who plays Tyler, and me, who I may or may not die in part 2. So, yeah.
Oh, shoot. There he goes, dropping those little bits for you guys. Again, Justine just answered that question. Are you signing any more copies? Yes. He just, to be fair, she asked that before that question came out. But yes, copies will be signed. You heard it here first. I've got mine right over there on that shelf. I freaking love it. Jody, please do a video on your tats, just saying, love you, need a mallet tattoo, by the way. You
I'm
have
a lot more tattooed up than I was when you and I met, huh?
Yes, I think you had maybe a few up here. I was trying to remember actually just the other day, and you definitely have acquired a few more. I'm freaking loving them, man. They look great.
I do plan on getting a mallet tattoo. It's funny she said that you need a mallet tattoo. I do. There's so many lines in his mask and the face that we've been trying to figure out how I can do it and still make it look like him.
Right.
So it's gonna take the right picture and the right artist. But my tattoo artist, he's pretty awesome. He's the one that just did my Joker on acid here.
That's freaking sweet. I love that one.
He also did my knuckles, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely get that. It's just made such a big. This is the beginning, and it's so cool that I came in with a character like Mallet. And I just want to say this too. I have 2 other scripts. I start a movie next year that's a supernatural demonic slasher. Whole different film. And then the following year, if I don't do Mallet 3, because I am going to take a year off after part 2 from Mallet at least. I'm not from movies. I'm just getting, man, I'm going to do a movie every year for the next 20 years. But I'm going to take a year off from Mallet and do the supernatural demonic slasher next year. And the following year, depending if I come back to do Mallet 3 or not, I have another film I can't disclose too much information from, but I will tell you that it's a horror film that I may very well star as the killer in. And that film has the potential to just be astronomical. I mean, beyond Mallet even. It's just one of the best scripts I've ever written in my life. It's phenomenal. Like, even Alicia was like, damn. Like you gotta hit her. So you know, it'll be interesting to see where this film thing goes. I can just tell you that I don't plan on stopping. I'm just getting started.
Beautiful words. Beautiful freaking words. I love that. I love that. So oh my God, can't even talk about that one. All right. Woo, gonna let that one go. So Facebook, well, you tell me, what is the best way people can stay in touch, get updates, see what's going on with Mallet, if there's going to be any changes, maybe the trailer when it comes out, is it all going to be in one central spot that people can keep an eye on?
I mean, you know, I'm pretty good about sharing everything anywhere that you see Hunting the Dead or Jody Dean, but I will say that Mallet's got its Facebook page and I share there the most. Okay. I'm pretty good about sharing on, you know, the Hunting the Dead Twitter, my Instagram for Hunting the Dead. But, you know, a lot of people, they might not know this, but Dean's Haunted Mansion is who I release these films under. That's my company. Dean, it's not just a haunted house attraction, but that's my film studio's name. So, okay. You know, anywhere you see that name, you'll be guaranteed that you'll be able to follow the movie stuff. So, okay. Yeah, Dean's Haunted Mansion, Hunting the Dead, the Mallet Facebook page, malletmovie.com if you haven't got a copy already.
And is that where they're going to be able to purchase a copy of 2 as well?
Yeah. You'll be able to go to malletmovie.com. You can go there now and purchase part 1. You'll be able to go there and pre-order part 2. If there's any other, you know, anything that changes between now and then, you'll be able to find it out on the Mallet Facebook page. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Justine says, I bet it's good fun working with Jody. I have not worked with him on movies, but I will tell you this, working with Jody on anything else in life is good fun. So you are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Damn.
We went into some places that we probably shouldn't have. Had a damn ball.
Yes.
Yes. Lots of great memories in a short period of time too. We tore it up.
It was pretty compacted there. Yeah, there was between possible demonic possession, spiritual warfare, and almost getting arrested at least twice. Yeah, I would say we had a good time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
spiritual
yeah.
warfare. Very well said. No, we definitely we stepped in the paranormal puddles and man, we did a lot in a short period of time, but still some memories that I cherish and I think about quite often.
Yes, yes, same, same. That being said, that is not the end of them.
No.
So stay tuned. Those of you that are fans of Jody Dean and maybe little old me, stay tuned because there are some stuff in the works. Nothing concrete yet, but we decided before the show, actually, just over an hour ago, that we're not going to let another year go by without some sort of shenanigans going on. So whatever that may be.
I think as soon as Mallet 2 is wrapped, I think that we're gonna jump into something. I think we need to work with that time frame because I don't want to jump into something else before that happens.
Yes,
So
yes.
as soon as Mallet 2 is wrapped, man, I'm gonna let you know, and we're gonna do something.
You know where to find me.
I do.
You do. That being said, guys, everybody in the chat, thank you so very much for joining us tonight on this very special night celebrating Mr. Jody Dean on the start of filming, production, editing, and everything that goes into making a beautiful, gory, fantastic horror film. Following up on the heels of Mallet 1, which again was just released in October. This man does not sleep. It is a family affair. Nobody sleeps. And man, I'm just so freaking proud of you. Everything that is just going on, where you're going with this, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And I'm not alone when everybody, says we're excited to see what's coming, not just with Mallet, with everything else in general.
It means a lot. No, it definitely. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and I'm proud of you as well. And thank you so much for asking the questions and bringing me on your platform. It was great, and hopefully, maybe we'll get to revisit it again in the future, man. Mallet 3 or whatever the hell else I do. We'll circle back around. But thank you everybody also for being in here tonight and watching while we're live and asking questions. It means a lot.
Yes. Keep your eyes on all of the Mallet platforms. If not, the Hunting the Dead platforms, or if you're ever lost, come to me. I will point you in the right direction. This is definitely something that we want to support, both as a horror movement, but also from our good friend Jody Dean. Always the worker, always at it, always impressing, and just knocking it out of the park. So again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. That means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Have a good night. Stay tuned both to Hunting the Dead, Mallet, and everything good that's coming up. But also here, eventually I will finish this Conjuring video and you guys will get a taste of what that night produced. So again, everybody stay safe. I love your face very much. And thank you guys for joining in.